gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of the My Two Cents podcast, presented by and hosted by G2. I am G2. This is episode 242 of the podcast. And first things first, I would like to ask every single one of you, how are you doing? I'm hoping that everyone had a great to lovely to amazing week. If you did not have any of those, I am sorry to hear that. And I do hope that this upcoming week, or that the week that we're about to enter into, turns out to be better for you and for your loved ones around you. Because I guarantee you, if you had a bad week, I guarantee you the people that love you, that saw you, probably felt a way about it. And I do hope that they see you in a better mood this week. And I do hope that that will get them in a better mood as well. Because once you see someone that you love not doing well, it kind of affects you a little bit. So again, I'm hoping that everyone does have a great to good to amazing week. Let me start off with that. And also, like I do every Sunday episode, I do want everyone to not stress out so much. I want people to know that, once again, stress is a silent killer. It's not really focused on that much. And I think people take on too much stress, especially now more than ever, because again, people have a lot of things to really worry about, or if you don't have something to worry about, you're worried about someone else that's dealing with something. But again, I think a lot of people are stressing out over things that are out of their control. I just want people to do this. Take a breather, assess what you can do, and then after that, just let everything be what is going to be. Because no matter what you do, the outcome is going to be what the outcome is. You could try to help it. You could try to reduce it. You could try to do whatever you can to make the outcome be what you want it to be. But some things are just stubborn. And again, certain things are just going to be what it's going to be. So please just take care of yourself the best that you can. Please do not stress out over things that are out of your control. Only manage things that is in your control. And don't take on too much. So let that be the, what do they like to call it? Let that be the mission for people this week. Handle what you can handle. Don't try to handle too much on your plate. Okay? So with that being said, it is now time for me to move on to your National Food Days of the Week. Today being August 24th, it is Waffle Day as well as Peach Pie Day. August 25th will be Banana Split Day, as well as Whiskey Sour Day. Drink responsibly. August 26th will be Cherry Popsicle Day. August 27th will be Pops de Crema Day, as well as Burger Day. August 28th, Cherry Turnovers Day. August 29th, Chop Suey Day. And then August 30th, to round us out, Toasted Marshmallow Day. Now, this is the last official week of August. I would like to say that August has been a month that really flew. And I think the reason why this month flew by quick was because kids were starting to get back into school, which means that parents or your older siblings that either go to school with them or help them out at home, they start noticing that their hours are going by pretty quickly. So I think that's how August happens. And again, everybody's getting back into the groove of things with school. And I think September, that's when everything will start to settle itself. I do think the time is still running quickly, but I think everything will start to settle itself more down and everybody will be right in the groove of things. And plus, it's about fall season. So I expect not winter clothing, but at least more long sleeve clothing to appear in certain parts of the country. And I do expect the weather to start steering away from the heat. I am so happy for that, because when you live in the South, during those, I want to say it starts right around mid-May to about August. It is just hot. It is not the hot from the sun type of heat. It is the humidity heat that just sticks with you and it becomes just ugly. And always whenever August ends and it starts going to September, it starts turning to at least some colder, breezier type of weather. And I am so happy about that. I'm feeling it right now in my own home. Usually be hot. And right now it is somber right now. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy that we're about to go into that type of weather. And I just can't wait to wear hoodies right now, or just a nice jacket that I can just zip up, you know what I mean? But again, I'm happy that's going down right now, that we're about to enter September. And also, since I'm talking about this, since I'm on the south of America, well, in America, but on the southern side of it, we just got, I'm not gonna say we just got it because we didn't really feel it. Hurricane Aaron flew by in the southern parts of the United States, or more than less just the east coast of the United States. And I'm happy to report that no deaths happened from Hurricane Aaron. Nothing happened. I didn't see or hear no reports of devastation from homes or anything like that. I think it just mainly stayed more in the ocean and we just felt like the winds. So I'm happy that nobody witnessed or felt any devastation, but it is now being said that there's another hurricane that's supposed to be forming right now, and I believe the hurricane's name is Ferdinand, and right now it's starting to form out there again in the Atlantic's ocean. I hope that it doesn't hit the East Coast. I'm hoping that it follows what Aaron did. It just stays more in the water than the actual land part of the East. But we'll wait and see. But people still stay tuned to your local news, to your weather stations. And again, we are in hurricane season, so please expect anything to happen and always be prepared for a hurricane, if you will. So with that, I just wanted to get that out of the way as your little hurricane update. Now I have to move over to an unfortunate accident, or shall I say incident, that happened on Friday. CNN would write about it. They say bus driver lost control in Western New York, crash that killed 5 and injured dozens. After spending the morning taking in the breathtaking sights at Niagara Falls, a group of tourists boarded a bus to return to New York City. Not knowing about an hour later, their bus will be lying on its side in the ditch off the New York State Thruway. The bus driver got distracted and lost control, officials said, overcorrecting and rolling over on the interstate near the town of Pembroke, east of Buffalo, about 40 miles east of Niagara Falls. Some of the 52 passengers were ejected, others were trapped, police said, as ground and air ambulance, state and local police, and other first responders rushed to the crash to help. 5 people died and dozens were hurt. Many of the passengers, some from China and the Philippines, spoke little English, so along with the ambulances and the tow trucks, translators were brought in to help police sort out what happened. People who saw the aftermath of the wreck told CNN affiliate WHAM glass and people's belongings were scattered on the highway. It was certainly heartbreaking to see, Paul Steffens told Wham after he drove by the crash on his way home. There was a lot of people embracing each other. It looked like people were breaking down. So off that, I do want to say, first and foremost, condolences to the people that did lose their life. Here you had a 60-year-old, you had a 22-year-old, you had a 65-year-old, a 55-year-old, and a 56-year-old. That's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking that you went off to go see Niagara Falls early that morning. You had, I would like to say, a nice day, because if you happen to go to Niagara Falls, you see the water's going down. I would think you would be happy about that. You probably got some pictures, some videos from that. And next thing you know, you get on your bus and it overturns later and some of the people that you were on that bus with don't make it back alive, that will be devastating. That's going to at least mess with you for a couple days, I would think. So first and foremost, condolences to everyone that lost their lives. Condolences to the people that were on that bus that got injured from this. And I do hope that you guys do recover from this emotionally, first and foremost. And also for the people that did lose loved ones and anyone that was close to them on that bus trip, I hope you guys can recover from this loss of life, because certain people can't go through that. Certain people don't know how to recover from that, but I do hope that you do, because there is light at the end of this sad, dark, devastating tunnel, but there is light. I would want you to always remember this, that I believe that your loved one would want you to continue to live. You can mourn them, but do not forget about your own life. That's what I do want everyone to remember from that. But again, it's still too early in this tragedy for anyone to think about that. So I would just, again, like to offer my condolences to everyone that lost loved ones, friends, family from this, and to the people that are injured. I hope that the injuries isn't that bad. I'm hoping that it's just a scratch, scraped knee, bruising on the head, something like that. That's what I'm hoping for. Nothing truly bad of injury, but yeah, man, I don't know what happened. They said the bus driver got distracted and lost control. I would love to know what he got distracted by. I hope that they are investigating this. I would think they would investigate it. I mean, right now they said that the bus was driving at full speed and didn't hit any other vehicles, but lost control from the median onward, the New York State police spokesperson would say. So they are at least looking into it right now. And again, I feel that the bus driver is going to probably be charged with something, because if he was distracted and got lost control because of his distraction, there's got to be some type of penance for that. But again, we'll wait and see. And again, it's a sad thing, but we'll just wait and see what happens here. All right. Now, moving off of that devastating news onto news that could have been devastating, but ultimately it was a hoax. On Thursday, I believe, Villanova University, there was a report that there was some type of lockdown because there was a active shooter on the campus, right? So they locked it down. You see video of police going on to the university. They look around, and I'm not going to say unfortunately, because I am tired of seeing schools being shot, whether it be colleges or regular schools, but there was no active shooter at the university. It was reported that a cruel hoax at Villanova University on Thursday afternoon sparked panic among students during the first day of orientation after false reports of an active shooter led to a temporary lockdown and prompted a mass police response, the school president would say. And this is coming from USA Today. They would say authorities received a 911 call at around 4:30 p.m. local time, reporting that there was an active shooter at Villanova Law School building, and at least one victim was wounded. Shortly after, a campus alert was issued, warning students active shooter on VU campus, moved to secure location, lock/barricade doors. Law enforcement agencies immediately converged on the university as students and visitors, including many families who were helping their loved ones settle in, scattered across the campus to barricade in nearby buildings and classrooms. The lockdown lasted for about an hour before investigators deemed the incident a hoax. Now, as I said, I am happy to hear and know that it was a hoax, first and foremost, but people don't need to be doing that. People don't need to be trying to make nothing into something. Because again, school shootings are a serious thing. I know in America we've seen a lot of them, and people have become desensitized to those type of things. But I still find those things very scary. I find those things very not necessary at any points. And I just don't understand what would make someone call in this hoax. Why would anybody want to do that? And they're investigating this. They would put out this information. They would say the apparent hoax came just hours after another active shooter was reported on the University of Tennessee's campus in Chattanooga, and an all clear was issued for that campus shortly after the initial report. So I don't know who's making up these calls of a hoax or who's putting out these hoax of a campus active shooter. I don't know who's doing that, but I hope whoever it was, they do get caught. I'm not even gonna try to lie to you, dude. Think about it. Your first day of orientation as a new student, you're there with your parents, and think about it. Your parents are setting you up. This is their send off for their child, their kid, and they get a report saying that there's an active shooting or active shooter on campus. Dude, you got to think about it as a student who has parents there to help them get set up. They have to worry about their parents, not just themselves, but their parents, dog. And now they got to make sure their parents are okay, make sure they're all right. And think about it, the parents, they got to make sure their kid's okay. And now the parents are going to have more stress on them saying, I'm not certain my kid should go here or not. You got to think, a lot of parents might be moving on with that type of thought process and just the worriment for their child because of an active school shooter being alerted that is on campus. Because think about it, parents drop their kids off every day, whether they go to elementary school, high school, middle school, private school. Parents drop their kids off at school, and parents know of school shootings can't happen, but every parent, when they drop their kid off, I don't think they ever imagine saying, okay, today's going to be the day my kid's going to get shot, or today's going to be the day that someone can do something to my kid's school. No parent, no oldest sibling ever thinks that. They think that that can never ever happen to their loved ones, but they're always something. And when you're in a university type of environment, the outside world kind of considers you an adult, but that's kind of your entryway into adulthood. Your parents are, again, setting you up. This is probably their first time really letting their child go out into this world. And again, first day, you get this alert. That has to run through parents' minds. And it will have to run through your mind too. If you're a student here and now you got to think about, what if there happens to be an active shooter on here? I understand this was a hoax, but what if? So again, dog, I don't need people to be doing that. It's sick. It's nasty. It's not good. I am happy to know that it was a hoax and there was no shooter on here, but this shouldn't have never ever occurred. And again, I do know that they are investigating this thing, and I do hope that they find out who put this hoax into effect. And I do hope that they find the person, and there has to be some type of consequence for this. Something severe, dude, because there doesn't need to be any type of hoax for a report of a school shooting. There doesn't need to be one. It's nasty. It's just outright just deplorable to me. I don't like it. Moving off of that nastiness, it is now time for me to move over to a update on a news story that it doesn't matter whether you are Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter what you are. You were waiting to hear what this woman was going to say. And I'm talking about Ghislaine Maxwell. It was reported, late July that the Department of Justice were going to talk to Ghislaine Maxwell, and that they were going to see what type of information that she knew about Jeffrey Epstein. Did he have a client list? Who was at these parties at Epstein Island? Any type of thing that could jam up someone they were going to try to get from Ghislaine Maxwell, because Ghislaine was next to Jeffrey Epstein for years. That was his girlfriend. So she should have a lot of knowledge about what went on behind the scenes with Jeffrey Epstein at the island, knowing about all of this, right? So they met with her in July, and now it just came out that they put out transcript and audio of the conversation that the DOJ and Miss Maxwell had, and she point blank said that there is no client list, there is no blackmail scheme, and to her knowledge, there is no high-profile Epstein associates who committed illicit acts in connection with the notorious sex offenders' crimes. And this is all coming from ABC News, but this was posted everywhere. Maxwell would say, there is no list. I am not aware of any blackmail. I never heard of that. I never saw it, and I never imagined it. Maxwell told the Department Attorney General Todd Blanche that during her time with Epstein, which ranged from early 1990s to mid-2000s, she never witnessed nor heard of any inappropriate or criminal activity by President Donald Trump, former President Bill Clinton, nor any of the well-known men who associated with Epstein, according to the transcript. Maxwell will say Trump was cordial and a gentleman in all respects in all of her interactions with him. She described Clinton as an extraordinary man and a fantastic ex-president, according to the transcript of the meetings. So that's just all boiled down in a nutshell. She is saying that there was no nastiness that happened to her knowledge. She did say this, though, that did kind of get me with this. She said that I did introduce him to women. I did, but not underage women. And Ghislaine would also say, and I did look for masseuses. I did. I went to spas, and if I met somebody who said she was a masseuse, I did not check their credentials. So she just saying she just took them for their word, which, listen, whether she did or didn't, let me put it like this. If you ever take someone for their word without checking their credentials, you can't do that in this age. You can't. You got to do background checks. You got to look on the internet. You got to check out to see if what they're saying is true. Even if they give you like some names and numbers on a resume, listen, dog, you still got to check those up. And you got to find some type of way to even see if they are who they say they are. You got to. And with Miss Maxwell being in a high position of power, being able to have all these connections, I'm pretty sure she should have done so. But hey, it is what it is with that. But yeah, dog, she is saying that there is no list, there is no blackmail scheme, there's nothing. Only thing I can say to you is this. Do I believe what she's saying? Me personally, I don't. I think when you're a high profound person, I think there is some shady stuff that you guys will do. I'm not saying every high profile or person in a high sitting position will do these nasty, sick things that people always allege these people to do. But I do think some of them do it. Now, with Jeffrey Epstein having an island and people would fly to the island, celebrities, people in power, people that are in political positions, all these type of things, and having women, whether they be of age or slightly underage, being at those Epstein Island parties. I do think something bad happened. This is just me saying this. It's opinion. It's not a fact because, A, the only person that almost got charged with something technically that with the high profile name was what I want to say Prince Andrew, and he ducked the smoke over here in the States. He had to stay away. But I do think some high profile people did do some stuff. I do. I'm not going to try to hide it. I'm not going to try to fib it. I think a lot of people think that way as well. Do I think there is a client list? Without a doubt. I think there's a client list, and I don't think that her saying there isn't one is going to get people off that. No. People are going to constantly say that there's a client list. Me, I think there is, but I'm not going to hold my breath on her ever giving it up. I don't think so. I think that's power. I think that the people in power would come together, whether they are a Democrat, Republican, to make sure that book stays buried. Because if, let's just say, a book ever does come out, a client list book, the Epstein client list book, right, ever does come out, if it does exist, right, if it ever comes out and you have high profile names from people in Hollywood, from people in politics, from people that are top CEOs, can you imagine the type of chaos that would reign upon not just them, but the friends that were associated with these people for these many years? Do you not know how much people would be looking, or it will be a firestorm, dude. It will be things that are completely unimaginable because, dude, that's just the thing. Everyone knows not to mess around with someone that's underage. People look at those people as the scum of the earth. And just imagine these people that are in these top spots, people that have these good reputations for many years, or people that didn't have good reputations, but you can never ever prove them doing something or prove your disdain and dislike for them. And then that list come out and their names on said list. Can you imagine, again, the firestorm, the bad PR, it would be hell on earth for the entertainment and political business and the business in general. It would be hell on earth for everything. And America just isn't ready for it. I'm just going to call a spade a spade. America isn't ready for it. So I think this non-existent book will never ever come out, never ever see the light of day. And right now it will always be a hunch and just conspiracy theory. That's it. But everybody sees it. Everyone already kind of thinks that there is a book, but no one can prove it. So we just got to take the word of Ghislaine Maxwell. Again, she was highly touted as being the right-hand girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein for many years, and we just got to take her word for it. Now, with that, when is she getting out? Because for her to say these things, and again, they're going to say it's the truth because it came out of her mouth, is she going to get out? What did she get for this talk with the DOJ? Again, I think a lot of stuff happens in the back channel. I don't think everything is always publicized about what someone gets for talking to the feds or the DOJ. But again, who knows what Miss Maxwell could have gotten for this talk. They've said that she was granted limited immunity, which means nothing she said could be used against her unless she lied. So that's what they say she got. But again, I think she got more. But again, I can't prove it. So that's the only thing you can go by, just my opinion on that. So that's what's going on. Again, Maxwell said there is no client list, no blackmail, no scheme. But do anybody really believe it? I don't know. I know I don't. So it is what it is with that. So that's your update with the whole Epstein list, at least as of right now, because I'm pretty sure people are still going to be trying to call for it even after this. But hey, we'll see how far that goes. Next thing I want to talk about is Trump. Trump has said that he's looking into Chicago as his next federal crackdown on crime. So before I talk about it, let me just say this. Anything I say from this point forward, at least in political mindset, is all in the opinions of G2, Gerald Garrett, no more, none less. It is not right-leaning, left-leaning, Republican, Democrat, no nothing. There's no political mindset to this. There is no political agenda that's being pushed on this podcast. Never has and never will, by the way. So I just want to make that perfectly clear. So anything that is said from at least this point forward, politically wise, because again, Trump's the president, and with that, things comes about it, and people think what you say is something political based about it. Anything I say from this point forward, at least in this ballpark, it isn't political. It's just my thoughts on something. So with getting that out the way, as I said already, Trump is looking to Chicago as the next federal crackdown on crime. The Wall Street Journal would write an article about it. They said Chicago will be likely next in Trump's administration's crackdown on crime, the president said Friday, prompting pushback from city and state leaders who called the possible deployment of National Guard troops an overreach of federal power. President Trump said on Friday, Chicago's a mess. We'll straighten this one out, possibly next, and then added, will help with New York. So he's already looking towards Chicago being the next place to put the National Guard over there. I don't like it. Even Chicago's mayor, Brandon Johnson, would say on Friday that city leaders haven't heard from the Trump administration about the possible deployment of federal law enforcement. He will push back on the president's comments and said crimes, including homicide, robberies, and shootings, have declined in the city over the past year. There are many things the federal government could do to help us reduce crime and violence in Chicago, but sitting in the military is not one of them. So there you go. And I think that's the truth. Again, I said it, last week when there was more talks about more National Guard troops being deployed over there in DC, if I'm not mistaken. And I said that was completely an overreach. That was completely ridiculous in how they would report it that crime has been low over in that area. And I said sending in the National Guard troops over there would be a waste of time for the National Guards, but it would just make people tense, because I made the illustration that imagine you're in school, you're sitting there at your desk, someone stares at you, you don't pay too much mind until you start really looking at it, and then you're like, hold up, why is this person staring at me? Is there a problem or something? And then more people start staring at you, and then more people start staring at you in the class, and then you just start getting on high alert. It makes you feel uneasy. And then certain people act out, certain people don't act out. But we're talking about adults in this instance here. DC is one thing. Chicago, completely something else. I'm not too well versed in Chicago, but every time I hear about Chicago, people talk about how Chicago is a dangerous place. But if the mayor has come out and said that homicides, robberies, and shootings have declined in the city over the past year, I would think he probably should have some stats to back that up. And for him to kind of say that, I'm pretty sure he has stats. So I don't think the president should be trying to send National Guard, the troops over there. He shouldn't be doing that because, again, you'd be wasting time. Go look at the data that is showcasing or showing that homicide, robberies, and all these other terrible crimes have declined in the city. Go and look at the stats, okay? That's what I would say to anybody before you start doing something like this, because, again, you're going to be wasting people's time. And just in case, if you happen to send the troops over there, there's going to be people, once again, be on high alert, and that can make people do something irrational that would have Chicago take 10 steps back after already making like 3 steps forward. You know what I mean? So I don't want that to happen to the people of Chicago. If there is some other type of help that they could get from the president, I would say get it. I wish homeboy would have said something else. Like, if he could help us out with our homelessness over here, get people housing, that'd have been great. Help people get money over here, that'd have been great. Like, something like that, if he would have said those type of things, that would have been great. But, again, just in the grand scheme of things, I don't think sending the National Guards to place is the right thing to do. Unless there is some type of big destruction happening. That's all I would say for that. So I'm hoping that Trump doesn't really do that. But again, with this, and I've said this since this administration has gotten right back into office, this is Trump's second run back. And he is not running it the way that he did the first time. Again, he's doing it completely different. And I think everyone needs to be on high alert when Trump does something, or at least he announces something like this. And people could say, oh, he's just blowing smoke. He might be, but then again, you should at least look into this and make sure that it's nothing but just smoke and not actual ammunition, all right? So I'm hoping that none of this does happen, but if so, citizens of Chicago, be like the citizens of Washington, D.C. Just allow it to happen, be calm, don't do nothing stupid, and I promise you, at least in the sight of me, everything will be fine. And I'm hoping that that doesn't happen. But if it does, play it calm. Don't do nothing stupid. All right. Now, with me saying that, that's all the political quote unquote news that I got for you guys here. Now I want to move over to lawsuits. The first lawsuit that I want to talk about is Ozempic. Ozempic is facing a $2 billion lawsuit as patients report stomach paralysis and vision loss. I'm getting this from the Financial Express. They would say Ozempic was a drug that was used for diabetes and weight loss. It's facing one of the largest pharmaceutical legal battles in recent years, with over 1,800 lawsuits already filed in the U.S. court and more growing rapidly. Analysts estimate that the total liability for the manufacturer could cost $2 billion, making it one of the most costly drug safety disputes in history. Now, they would go into why patients are suing Ozempic. They say that these drugs were originally approved to treat type 2 diabetes, but soon became popular for weight loss because they suppress appetite, help regulate blood sugar, eventually help in losing weight. So basically, they're saying that people would take Ozempic not for if you have type 2 diabetes, which was the original purpose for it, but people would take it for weight loss. And let me stop you right here. Let me stop this lawsuit right here, right now. Here's my opinion on this lawsuit. If you have a medical problem, if you are type 2 diabetes and you took Ozempic and you happen to have some type of issue with Ozempic, I think you should sue Ozempic, okay? Anybody else that never had type 2 diabetes and used Ozempic, and you know who you are, and you used it for weight loss, and you're suing Ozempic, I hope you don't get a single red dime. Red penny. Do you understand me? Because here's what humans like to do. And I'm going to say this right now. Humans like to do things and take things that is not meant to be took or to be done. If you happen to be overweight, you see something or you hear from someone about a drug that will help them lose weight or that made them skinnier, you're going to look at it because you want to become skinny or you want to at least lose some weight yourself, right? So you're going to look at what that person did, hear that person, and if they talk about this drug that they took that had them losing weight or suppressed them from eating, which ultimately helped them in the process of losing weight, certain people will take it, certain people won't take it. For the people that will take it, you need to look at what that drug was intended for and why it was intended for that and the damages it can have for your body. Because people that have type 2 diabetes, they're dealing with something that's very, very serious. Okay? And I just wanted to read you guys this right here because I wanted to make sure I'm not crazy right here. They said that Ozempic was, again, a treatment for type 2 diabetes. It was designed to improve blood sugar control by stimulating the pancreas to produce more insulin and reducing glucagon production. I don't know what glucagon is. Let me just say this right now. If you did not have type 2 diabetes and you took Ozempic to help you lose weight, you don't need to get a red penny from this. You don't. And I said this when I heard about Ozempic, and this is some years ago too, when that was the thing that was floating on your ABC, Good Morning America, your other newsy programming about, you know how it is at the beginning of the year, weight loss this, and they would start talking about what you could do to help you lose weight and all this type of stuff. You would see the newscasters talk this and that, and then once they go to commercial, what happens to pop up next? Ozempic, or what is the other one that would be the thing? Wave Nuvo, or Wegovy, not Wave Nouveau, God, because it's a hair product, but Wegovy, and some other type of drug that's similar to Ozempic, but they would market it to literally be the thing to help people lose weight. And I always saw that as a problem. I saw that as that isn't what it was intended for originally. That's not for that at all. And you guys are about to inject that into your body when you do not have the thing this medicine is supposed to help for. You're going to set yourself up for a litany of problems. I said that some years ago, and I remember bringing it onto this broadcast to say that. And now for it to come back years later, and Ozempic is facing a lawsuit, and right now they said over 1,800 lawsuits. I'm going to say this again. Unless you had type 2 diabetes, if you don't have type 2 diabetes, you're not getting a red penny. I'm hoping that the lawyers get at you so hard for taking this for weight loss, because that was never what Ozempic was for. If you have type 2 diabetes and you took Ozempic and things started to happen to you, guess what? I'm hoping that you get what you can get from Ozempic, because that's what, hey, I took your drug to help me out with this thing that you said your drug was supposed to help me for, and it didn't, and it made me worse. Guess what? Get what you can get from them. Hey, it is what it is. But anyone that took Ozempic for weight loss, nah. I can't side with you out of just common sense. Because you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to take it. Why would you take it? Why? You're going to take it because you saw someone else losing weight fast. You're going to take it because someone else said, hey, take this, it'll help suppress your appetite. You're going to take it because of whatever. No. I understand over here in America, because I don't know about any other country at all, but I know over here in America, we have this thing where you look at yourself, you start critiquing your body if you don't like yourself. I see that, and dog, listen, I understand you want to improve yourself. I get it. I'm not even going to try to act like I don't. I get it. But there's ways to how you can improve yourself. You can improve yourself if you are a bigger person by getting into the gym, or you can start by trying to fluctuate your diet, or you can try to take things in moderation. But I would say just move around. Just move around. Make sure get yourself moving. If it means walking around your house, walking outside your house, make sure you get yourself moving. Keep your legs limber, keep your arms moving, something like that. At least keep your body moving, because I guarantee you it helps you out in the long run, one, and then two, it gets you motivated to do other things. So that's one. Two, if you want to change up your diet, again, you can change it up. I'm not saying take out all the sweets out of your diet. Certain people do. Certain people are able to do that and quit cold turkey. Cool. Certain people, nah. Just take things in moderation. Just fix a couple things up. Just fix a couple things up to help you out. And if you happen to be the person that gets a gym membership and goes to the gym and all that, go and work your body out fully. Do arms, do legs, do your stomach, do everything. Don't waste time on just working all on arms, never the legs, never the stomach. No. Don't waste all your time working on just your legs. None of your chest, none of your stomach, none of your arms. No. Make sure you work your whole body out. Because, ladies and gentlemen, let me just give y'all a story right now that made me realize how bad in shape I was. College, I want to say it's probably like my last semester, not of my second degree, but on my first degree. Last semester, I needed another course to take, and I took physical education. I thought, okay, this is going to be PE. It's going to be just me just going in there, doing whatever I want, and just like, okay, just a blow away type class. Get there, I'm with other people. We do jumping jacks, we do push-ups, we do burpees, we do plankings, we do these things, right? I see people killing it. Jumping jacks, okay, do it. Push-ups, okay, do it. Burpees, always hated burpees in my life, always, but I was able to do it, but boy, was I slow on it. And planking, cool. And we did a couple other things. And then once we were done, we had to give the professor at the time what we did, all that. And once the bell rung and said we can leave, my legs were wobbly. I felt like I wanted to throw up. I never realized how bad my body was. Truly, at that moment, I realized I haven't felt this way in a long period of time. That is insane to me. And that made me think, man, I don't look like crap like that, and I don't feel like crap like that, but moving that much made me feel like I wanted to throw up. No, dog, I can't. That was like a wake-up thing for me. Like, yo, just get yourself and do a couple things, so you never ever feel like you want to throw up like that ever again after moving around like that. So what I'm saying is, if you are a big person, or if you're a person that just wants to change yourself, because I'm not telling you that story because I wanted to change myself, it just made me realize my health just needed to get more oxygen and all that type of stuff. You got to actually do the work and not take something to try to cheat yourself. Because the only thing you're doing is just cheating yourself, and you're causing more harm to yourself if you do something like that. And apparently, these people that are suing Ozempic, and I'm going to say the people that are doing it are people that took it because of weight loss more than anything. They cheated themselves, and now guess what? They're paying the price for it because they're harming themselves in the long run. So please, if you ever hear someone say that they lost weight because of a drug, and you are tempted to thinking about using said drug, please look up what that drug was and what it was originally used for, what it was made for, and look up the warnings and side effects of what could happen if you take said drug. And then you got to weigh out your options and say, is it worth it if I take that or not? That's it. So let that be a teachable moment for everybody. Let this lawsuit be a teachable moment for everyone. I'm hoping so. But I have a feeling that it won't be. I have a feeling, again, I said we're humans. People are going to do whatever they want. And we'll just wait and see what happens with those Ozempic lawsuits. Again, if people with type 2 diabetes, they had it, and they got their body messed up because of Ozempic, get your money. But anybody else that didn't have it and you took it for weight loss, I hope you don't get a red dime. Or red cent, if make it more precise. Now, moving off of that lawsuit, on to the next lawsuit that I do want to talk about, Dr.Phil. Dr.Phil is being countersued 1 month after a bankruptcy filing. This is all coming from Hello Magazine. They will say Dr. Phil's ongoing bankruptcy filing with Merritt Street Media, his short-lived Texas-based media company, is encountering another snafu as it has been hit with a $500 million countersuit. The TV personality founded the company in 2023 and officially launched in April 2024 as a TV network in a joint venture with Trinity Broadcasting Network, aka TBN, to serve as a platform for true crime programming, to be heralded by the follow-up to his popular syndicated series, Dr. Phil. However, just a month ago, he filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, alleging also that TBN had reneged on their obligations as a network. Things got more complicated when Merritt Street filed to remove their bankruptcy proceedings because the costs were mounting. Now, TBN has fired back with a countersuit of its own on their $500 million deal. Their actions state the response to TBN legitimately and lawfully defending itself from Penske and Dr. Phil's bad faith attacks is to cry foul because they do not like the true facts that they themselves now regretfully put at issue before this court, revealing McGraw's, which is Dr. Phil, true illicit intent and wrongful conduct, which he self-described as a gangster move and as an 11th hour poker per deadline. A spokesperson for Dr. Phil's production company, Petsky Productions, shared a statement from Hello on the case as well, refuting TBN's claims. TBN's latest lawsuit is riddled with provable lies and is part of a lawfare litigation strategy designed to distract people so no one notices when TBN ultimately is held accountable for walking away from his commitments here. Among other things, they claim we didn't create any episodes. A simple check of IMDb tells the real story. We created more than 200 episodes. People lost their jobs, and Penske Productions has incurred millions of dollars of loss because of TBN's bad behavior. We will continue to fight for justice in this case. So right now it's boiled down to a he said, she said between Dr. Phil's company and TBN. But originally what this case boiled down to was TBN was feeling that they got swindled because under a 10-year deal that they got with Dr. Phil, which was worth $500 million, they said that they were supposed to get new content, new episode from the Dr. Phil talk show, right? But they said they didn't get not one single new episode of Dr. Phil, right? But a spokesperson for Dr. Phil said that 214 new episodes of Dr. Phil prime-timed aired on merit. So they're saying that is a complete lie, right? So in this suit, as Dr. Phil's media company is simultaneously in bankruptcy court, they are suing TBN for a breach of contract over his downfall. So right now we're in a he said, she said between Dr. Phil's company and TBN. Only thing I can say to that is this: I don't watch TBN. I don't know nothing about that. Congrats for that, station to still be alive. I remember TBN was around when I was a kid, and it's still around now. Congrats to them. But having Dr. Phil on your network is kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you, because Dr. Phil, the actual TV show, I understand it's supposed to be a Christian, Christian network, and Christianity is all about giving people a second chance and all this type of stuff, and the whole Dr. Phil show is about that type of stuff. Yes, you get the ridiculousness, you get some really sad stories of things, but usually they always try to come to some type of impasse on giving people a second chance or giving people a new lease on life, and technically that goes into Christian faith. But I just don't see how you would have gotten that out of the Dr. Phil show. Hey, it is what it is. I can't tell people how to run their business on that. But hey, man, it is what it is right now with that. I'm interested to see how it was gonna go personally, because I would never have thought of seeing Dr. Phil in a freaking lawsuit over not producing content. But I mean, homeboy is 74? I don't see him doing this much more out there. I think I probably could see him being behind the scenes or something. But yeah, dog, just seeing Dr. Phil's name in a lawsuit was pretty funny to me. So that's the only reason why I brought it up when I did see this. But yeah, right now it's a he said, she said situation. Whatever happens, I'm going to bring it back to this program, and we're going to talk about it. Now, moving off of that lawsuit, and we're done with lawsuits, we're now going over to Target CEO stepping down. But he'll be staying on the board, technically. He won't be CEO, but he'll just be technically next to it. But I'll get more into that in a minute. Brian Cornell, he's been with the company or leading Target for 11 years. He'll be stepping down February 1st, 2026. And the next person to take up that CEO spot will be Michael Fidelke. They say he's a 20-year Target veteran. So that's the next guy that's supposed to be the CEO of Target. But Cornell will be transitioning to the role of executive chairman. Now, I don't know what that means, but chairman usually means a guy that's kind of running the board. So if he's executive chairman, that means, at least in my mind, Michael and Brian at least will be going head to head with things. But I think Michael Fidelke, the new CEO of Target in February should be the guy with the final say. That's what I think that should make the case. I don't even know how Cornell is even still around after this tenure of his is done, because my understanding is people aren't going to Target like that. They've seen sales going down. There's been data to prove that ever since the whole DEI taken away position that Target kind of made the stance of doing. People haven't been going into Targets like that, so I don't even see how Homeboy is even able to still be around with that. I don't. That still doesn't even make a lot of sense to me there. Why would you get rid of DEI just because Trump's in power again? Above my pay grade, I think it was stupid. And then to even announce it was dumb. Allow people to see if you are going to do it. Don't try to just announce that in a posting, in a statement, and think everybody was going to be fine with that. No, Target was actually one of the fewer companies that people actually were cool with seeing stuff in there that represented them. And especially as a black person, because whenever it was Black History Month, you would see people talk about how they're going to go to Target. People would see the Target advertising that they had on there for black people, and people weren't offended by it. And again, for you to, again, do what you did, take away DEI and all this, it was just stupid on your behalf. And you being the CEO of that, you could have just straight up said, nope, we're going to continue doing what we've been doing. And you decided not to. So, but you're stepping down as the CEO, but you're still going to be right there. I don't know. If I was Michael Homeboy, I would be pissed about it. But I'll just keep that under the tuck. But as soon as I get in there the first day, I would make it plain Jane simple. Homeboy has no ruling over me. If we ever do get into a discussion, I always got the final say. If you guys want to have him as the executive chairman and me as the CEO, that's how I'm going to be running it. That's how I'm going to be doing things. But again, amen. The current CEO of Target is supposed to be stepping down on February 1st, 2026. So we'll see how things turn about. And again, that's Black History Month. So I expect for him to step down on the first day of Black History Month. They're probably going to have some Black History Month branding and stuff already in the works whenever that day comes out and day rolls around. And hopefully there'll be a new statement from the new CEO talking about what he plans on doing. That's what I'm hoping for that. But we'll see about that. Now, moving on for that, on to another CEO doing things that not people are happy about. Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel. And even for me to even mention this is kind of funny to me, because I've never went to Cracker Barrel a day in my life. Just the name Cracker Barrel just weirds me out as a black man in the South. It always weirded me out with that. I always felt like that was a place that, even though I'm in America and I know racism happens and we're supposed to be living in a new age where not a lot of racism is around, but Cracker Barrel, just the name itself, just always felt like I don't want to go in there, but that's just me. Cracker Barrel got a new logo. They have a new InDesign for their interior. I've seen people talk about how it lost its soul. Even black people talk about it, about how if they were ever were to go to Cracker Barrel, just off the name alone, they wanted to at least get a hint of racism in their food whenever they get it. Black people were just being so unserious with this thing, right? Because seeing how other people were being so outraged by this, black people got in on the fun. They started making their own little jokes about it. And again, black people with our stuff or our added twist to things like this, it's always funny to me. But back to serious matters. Cracker Barrel has lost almost $100 million in value as stock plummets after a new logo was released. Now, if you remember the old logo, Cracker Barrel, you see the man sitting on, like, I want to say like a rocking chair and his arms on the barrel. That was the old logo for Cracker Barrel, right next to the name Cracker Barrel. Now, the new logo looks like John Deere type of logo, or like a plain Jane belt buckle that says Cracker Barrel on it. And again, I want to make myself perfectly clear on this. I have never went to a Cracker Barrel, so I don't know what the whole hubbub is, but just seeing the logo, I can see why people are like, yo, dog, why'd you have to change our logo? Why do that? And then again, when you see the interior, someone has a photo of what the current interior was to the past interior. The past interior looks like, again, you were going to a place that sounded like Cracker Barrel. You go in there and it looks southern and has the chairs, has the tables, and it looks southern for what the name prescribes it to be. But now with the new photos of it, it looks like a corporate type of restaurant feel, and people aren't too happy about it. So people aren't happy. People are, again, showing their displeasure to it, and it is what it is. They, again, almost lost $100 million in market value. We'll see how Cracker Barrel does with it. But, hey, man, again, I just found that completely funny for me. And I just wanted to bring that to everyone. Cracker Barrel changing their logo, changing their interior. It had people going crazy, stupid online. And again, black people just adding their little fun, little comedy 2 cents to it. It was just great and funny to me. Last thing that I do want to talk about is that the Menendez brothers, they will not be released from prison. It's not going to happen. California parole officials would announce that Eric Menendez will not be released. He got his announcement on that Thursday, while Lyle Menendez will not be released. He got his on Friday. So both of the brothers will still be denied parole. They're up for parole once again, I believe in the next, 3 years? That's as soon as the next administrative review for them could be. Only thing I'm going to say to this is that if you have more family members coming out of the woodwork and they are asking for the board to have you released after you've been in there for, I don't know, 30 some odd years, I think it's probably time for you to let them out. Listen, it's not like they went on a killing spree, killing random people. They murked their parents. And again, we've had mad documentaries come out. You had the whole Monsters Netflix series that came out about the Menendez brothers, and which led to more stuff being uncovered, and this generation doing a bigger, deeper dive into the Menendez and finding stuff that hasn't been documented before and newer revelations coming out. It's about time. Let the Menendez brothers come out, and if they happen to do another killing after they been to jail for 30 some odd years, then you can say, yep, that was our bad. We're putting them in and they're locking themselves away. But again, a lot of people came out to show the support for the Menendez. So I think they should be out. Let them be out, bro. It's time. Let them be out and live their lives. That's just my opinion on that. But we'll see in another 3 years when they go off for parole once again. And I believe that's everything I do want to talk about. Oh, yes. Quick note. Just say a couple prayers for Little Nas X. Homeboy was walking around in some, I want to say, boots and tighty whities over in, I'm not sure it was California or not, but Homeboy was on video. He was recorded. They say they had a hospitalized Homeboy. I'm not sure if he's on anything. I'm hoping that he's not. And if he is on something, I'm hoping that they can get it out of him. And just say a quick prayer for Little Nas X, all right? I'm hoping it's not a rollout for something. If he is on something, again, let it get out of him. And just watch out for the kid. That's all I can say for that. With that being said, I have gone over my time, but I'm happy with it. I think that's everything that I do want to talk to you guys about. So with that being said, it is now time for me to get you guys out of here. I would like to thank everyone for tuning in to today's episode of the My Two Cents broadcast. I would like to thank the podcast sites for having me up here: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Amazon, Spotify, iHeart, all the other podcasting sites that you're listening to this podcast on. Because without them, I wouldn't be able to get this podcast out to you guys, the downloaders, the listeners. So I'd like to thank them. But I would also like to thank you guys, the downloaders, the listeners, for listening to the My Two Cents podcast. I would like to thank every single one of you for listening to this, whether you're in your car, in your home, in the gym, just anywhere. I would like to thank you guys because I see where it's coming from. I appreciate everybody for taking the time out of their day just to listen to me, just talk about the news and just get my opinions on it. I really do appreciate it. And I just want to say thank you. Now, with that being said, always remember,
I love you, I love you, I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you.
That is not a gimmick. I really do appreciate and love every single one of you guys. Again, this has been the My Two Cents podcast, presented by and hosted by G2. I am G2. This isn't goodbye. This is until you hear from the sweet sounding voice again. And I want to let everyone know that tomorrow I'll be dropping a wrestling episode, which I will be reviewing AEW's Forbidden Door event, which will be happening today if you listen to this on Sunday, and WWE's NXT Heatwave event, which will be happening today as well. AEW will be happening at 1 o'clock if you're over here on the East Coast. West Coast, I believe 10 o'clock, because they're over there in England, so we got to work out with their time to watch it live. While NXT will be happening, I believe, at 7 o'clock at night, so literally when one program ends, another one's going to be starting, so that's going to be my day for Sunday. But yeah, you'll begin a review of those two events tomorrow, and then you'll be getting the regular schedule that goes by Wednesday, midweek breakdown, Thursday, Let's Have a Chat series, which is about wrestling, Saturday, wrestling highlights of the week, Sunday, news once again, and I believe that's it for this upcoming week. If it's something else, you'll hear me talk about it on Wednesday with a change up. But I want everyone to have a great rest of your day. Be blessed. This isn't goodbye. This is here until you hear from the sweet sounding voice again. And remember, don't be a dick. And always remember as well, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And if you ever feel that you're going to leave off this earth and you feel that type of way and you want to self-transition, please call up the suicide hotline number that I always have in my episode description. I always have that listed there because I don't want people to do that, because life is too short, life is precious, and I don't want people to make that decision, leaving your people that love you in a state that's not recoverable, you know what I mean? And that leaves them a lot of questions. So please call that number up, or you can message me, because I always have my business email up there that we can have a chat if you want to do that. And I'll just try to help you out the best way that I can. But please don't try to self-transition, all right, without using all the resources that you can to keep yourself up on this planet. So again, please be careful today. Please be kind. Please be courteous. Don't be a dick to people, because you don't know what type of effects that will happen on anyone. So just be courteous. So again, this has been the My Two Cents podcast, presented by host by G2. He is I am him. This isn't goodbye. This is until you hear from the sweet sounding voice again. And with all that being said, Kanye, could you please take these people home?
I'm tired, you tired, Jesus wept.